Have you ever wondered why some people feel very comfortable in the relationships while others are very often anxious and frustrated? Maybe you felt like you care too much or it's very difficult to open up to someone. What if I told you that a lot of this came from how you learned interacting with other people when you were a kid? Today we're going to talk about 4 attachment styles, the patterns that shape how we act in the relationships. By the end of this video, you will understand your attachment style and why people around you act the way they do. My name is Dasha, I'm cognitive behavioral psychologist, and let's discover it together. Your attachment style starts to form when you were a baby, and it depends on how your main caregivers, normally these are parents, are responding to your needs. If your caregivers are loving, responsive to your needs, and come to comfort you when you need it, most probably you will form a secure attachment style. But if your caregivers are sometimes there for you and sometimes not, or they ignore your needs, or even act in a scary way, then most probably you will feel unsure and anxious about your relationship. And this can lead to different attachment styles like anxious, avoidant, or disorganized. Basically, how your caregivers act when you're a little shapes what you expect from others later in life, and it impacts how you connect with other people and how you feel in the close relationships. Let's cover all 4 attachment styles and discover the patterns that accompany those styles. Watch the video till the very end because we will be gradually increasing the complexity of the attachment styles. Let's start with secure attachment style. I would say the most balanced and the most wanted one. First of all, you feel okay both when you're alone or when you're with others. Second, you feel comfortable sharing some sensitive emotions or facts about your life. You're okay to open up. If you have any troubles in the relationships, or you feel insecure, or you feel neglected or anything, you would go and talk to your partner without expecting them abandon you. And also you trust your partner or friends and give them freedom to be what they are. Sounds like a very good thing, right? It's in a way easy to shape the secure attachment style because the only thing that parents need to do in a very reasonable, of course, amount is to be responsive to the needs of the kid. So when parents are reliable and loving and always paid attention to the kid whenever the kid was crying, the kid learns to trust people and to feel safe. Since the support and attention is consistent, the kid learns to trust people and to feel okay about people in general. So the kid is not worried, not anxious, and feel super safe. Let me give you an example on how it looks in real life. So let's say you're staying home and your partner texts you that they need to stay late at work. You might get upset if you had different plans, but in general, it doesn't worry you. So you are reading a book or calling a friend or doing something that would make you feel good. And in response, you're not anxious, you're not worried, and you trust that what has been said is true. People with secure attachment styles are okay to form close relationships. They are okay to open up. They're okay being alone. They respect others' boundaries and they build strong, healthy relationships. I know it sounds very ideal and it doesn't mean that they are not upset, angry, or pissed off with the partner's stuff. But in general, they know that they can rely on their partner or rely on their friends. The next one is actually very popular, if I may say so. This is anxious attachment style. In a nutshell, people with this style are constantly worried that their partner or friends will leave them, even without any valid reason for that. What are the signs that you or your close people can have anxious attachment style? First, you get very upset if someone doesn't respond to you quickly. So let's say you send a message and the person is not responding for an hour, you start being anxious, you're worried that something went wrong. Second, you need constant validation if everything is fine in the relationship. So you want to hear like every single hour, I love you, I appreciate you, you're the best. Otherwise, you think that something, again, guess what? Not right in the relationships. Small arguments make you feel that your relationships are falling apart. And you often think, did I do something wrong if someone is quiet? Again, not giving you constant validation that everything is fine. How a person could shape such an attachment style. So imagine you as a kid whose parent was one day very loving and caring, buying you all the presents in the world, playing with you, saying like having fun with you. The next day, the same parent is quite distant, very cold, and not responsive to your needs, even if you're crying. In this case, love can be confusing and unpredictable, meaning that the kid doesn't feel safe and stable. Real life example would be that Imagine you text your partner and again there is no response. You're very worried, very anxious, and you start worrying that your partner is upset or doesn't care anymore, even though most probably the person is just busy at work. This is quite tough emotionally, actually, because the person lives in the fear of being abandoned without any valid reason, of course, and constantly needs validation that they are okay. If you ask me for one phrase that could characterize the anxious style, I would say that those people are relations detectives. So they're always searching for clues or proofs that something went wrong. Leave a comment if that sounds familiar or you've met people with like similar traits. Now let's talk about avoidant attachment. So people with this attachment style prefer distance and they hate being close to other people. Not just hate, but they feel super uncomfortable and frustrated. The standard signs of avoidant attachment would be you feel trapped when someone wants to spend more time with you. It really frustrates you and stresses you out. Normally you would avoid talking about feelings or sharing something very personal because that makes you feel vulnerable. And the last but not the least, when someone tries to get closer, you pull away or end the relationship. Like always in this video, imagine a kid who needs comfort and attention, right? Kids need that. If the caregivers often ignored their needs, were not expressing much emotions themselves, or even showed the signs of annoyance when the kids were scared or in discomfort, the child basically learns that reaching out for care, comfort, or closeness doesn't work, or might even lead to rejection or being ignored. To cope, they start suppressing their feelings and needs. And the tricky part is that those people become very independent because they tend to rely only on themselves. And those people might look very confident as if they don't need any support, they don't need anything from others, they're super confident. But very often this independence comes from the fear of being ignored or neglected. That's why people with this attachment style always keep distance because it's just safer. Because when you're not getting closer, you're not going to feel pain when you're rejected. To give you a clear picture of how this pattern might look like in real life, I'm sure you all have a friend who has a tendency to break up with every single partner who says, I love you, because it's just too much, it's too close and too dangerous for this person. So whenever they're getting closer to other people, they run away because it's no longer safe. For another example, let's say you have a friend and something very important is going on in their lives and they want to share the juice. So that's why they text you very often, they call you, they want to meet up more often than like once a month. And the person with avoidant type would feel very trapped and will try to ghost the person because again it's too much attention and the person needs distance. So people with avoidant type of attachment are scared of losing the independence or getting hurt or rejected. So that's why they prefer distancing from people. Finally, the most complex one, I would say, disorganized attachment style. This style is a mix of avoidant and anxious styles, meaning that people want closeness and want to be close with other people, but at the same time, they're scared of it. What would be the signs of the person with disorganized attachment style? First, this person sends very mixed signals when interacting with other people. So they might be very close 1 minute and completely distant the next one. Normally they struggle to trust others, of course, and they always expect that something would go wrong in the relationships. It will end, there will be some betrayal or anything, so something bad would happen. People with disorganized attachment style crave intimacy, but at the same time, being vulnerable is incredibly scary to them. Similar to avoidant type, they might sabotage things when they start getting serious. And of course, sharing feelings or talking about feelings is almost impossible. I will talk about the context that shaped this attachment style a bit later, and you will understand why. But people with disorganized attachment feel unworthy of love and simultaneously believe that others cannot be relied on, and they're sure that people will eventually hurt them. So these are the signs of disorganized attachment style, and you might guess how it could happen. This style often develops when a child source of safety, normally the main caregiver, also becomes a source of fear. Imagine needing comfort from the person who scares you. These are several situations when it can happen. When The caregiver might be physically, verbally, or even sexually abusive, or the caregiver can act in scary or unpredictable ways, let's say because of the addictions, some mental problems, or unresolved traumas. Or actually, disorganized attachment style might be formed if the kid was neglected. Let's say the mother needed to leave or just abandoned the kid somewhere around 2 years old. This might also lead to this attachment style. How can you identify the disorganized attachment style in real life is that, let's say when your partner during the fight says really mean things, and then in the next 20-30 minutes, they beg you to stay and not to break up. Or your friend would tell you that they never want to talk to you again, but then in 30 minutes, they call you crying, asking to hang out together again. So this dichotomy in behavior can signal the disorganized attachment style. It's actually very tough for the person to experience these swings, but also for the partners or close people, it's also tough to maintain those relationships. But understanding where these feelings come from is already a huge step to feeling better and building healthier relationships. Let me close on the note that even if you recognize some avoidant, anxious, or disorganized attachment styles, it is possible to start moving to the direction of secure attachment style. Yes, it requires a lot of work, but it's possible. Please leave a comment if you're interested in how people can navigate to secure attachment style, and I will make a video. And actually, this is the very first video on this channel, so please hit the subscribe and like button if it was useful, and see you next time.